Hey fam, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining me in this All Signs Tarot reading. We're going to do this again. I did it for the first time yesterday, and now I want to play some more. I can tell you right off the bat that as far as I'm concerned, the bottom of the deck is the general vibe of the reading. And for that, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So there's been a lot of mastery going on, like building skills and a lot of devotion, a lot of time and energy has been going into this. And maybe, you've not really been, maybe it's been all work and not really much play, if any. But either way, you are not wasting your time. You're building, you're honing, you're, like I said, mastering. So it's quite the vibe to begin with, fam. Hey, let's see what else. Okie dokie. So first of all, with the archetype, that is the flame. Ooh, fam, look at that stippling. That's what I'm talking about. The fire, the spark, the glimmer. In Sanskrit, the word for fire is Agni. The ancient yogis saw this flame at the center of the abdomen and believed it to be responsible for our vitality. When it is lit, we are connected to our purpose and sense that life is a sacred gift. It is said that those who cannot see the sacred around them have let their inner flame go out. Think of this card as a call to reignite that fire, to cup your hands gently around those things you've forgotten and protect the flame, no matter how harshly the winds around you blow. It could be an inner archetype that begs you to light its wick. It is likely that the poet, the mystic, or the shaman would call to you with the language of the flame. But look at all this space here. Like, there's usually a lot more text, fam. Bam. To enliven the connection with this archetypal energy, practice candle gazing, the candle gazing technique called Trataka. Notice how lighting a single candle in any space brings magic to the room and creates a sense of reverence. The archetypal fire is at the beginning of all transformation, purification, and manifestation. Nearly every spiritual lineage honors the flame. Oh my goodness, there was something I wanted to say and I totally just... Oh, if I ever mispronounce things, it's okay to correct me in the comments. I would rather say it correctly than and a lot of these words that Kim uses, or, I read them. I forget, like, hey, you know what helps learning how things are pronounced? Google. Moving on to the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck. Don't be afraid to sing, fam. Okay, there's a theme already. First two cards, we officially have a theme. There is something within you that you've always, that's been a part of you since birth. For me, it literally is singing, storytelling, putting things into words. And that has been such a struggle for me lately. So maybe you can relate to that. Maybe there's something that's always been within you that has kind of been forced to take the back seat over the years of your life because you've just been trying to pay your bills and such, right? And a part of your soul has been suffering for that. And you need to reignite. You need to find that confidence, that joy that partaking in it always did for you, whether it's art or architecture. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's a form of art. But like, I'm an artist, I'm a creative, so of course I'm gonna lean that way. But it could be different for anyone. It's whatever makes your soul sing. What doesn't Took me a second to realize that was a plane. What doesn't hinder, what doesn't hurt, right? The things that make your soul purr, that you've put on the back burner. You know, if you've been wondering like that, are you really meaning that? Yeah, I think they mean that, fam, because you've actually been returning to it, haven't you? Don't be afraid to sing. You've been made to believe that your voice, that your unique point of view in this world isn't worth very much. Let me tell you, that couldn't be further from the truth. Your words are worth all the stars in the night sky. So don't forget to sing whenever you have the chance. Your voice is powerful enough to sink a dozen spaceships. It's such a particular imagery, right? Sinking ships and stuff, and yet space. But it kind of feels like turning the tides of a possible war. Like when being true to oneself, you can keep arguments from happening. You can enable a real, true, definitely a C word, like clear conversation, right? That doesn't involve guilt and blame. That is truly about moving forward and resolution, right? Like there's something about you that's very soothing to others, and there are going to be those who balk at that, who it just, that vibe makes them aggro. You know what I mean? Makes them want to fight with you. Sometimes it's just about pushing boundaries, and others not knowing healthy coping mechanisms, right? Others not knowing how to draw attention to themselves without being any form of destruction. And that's not on you, because that's not you. So, like, we may not be able to control others, but we should, hopefully we're able to control ourselves in the way we choose to think about things, right? You can be angry about the person who just cut you off, or like, why? What's the point of that? What does that really resolve? Are you suddenly going to change their entire lives because how dare they? Not with that attitude. Right? Like, when handled like that, how often has it really worked out the way you hoped? Right? It's not always about, matching energy. Sometimes it's simply about resonating within yourself and not letting them cause reciprocation, right? Watching your own reactions to things. Because quite frankly, if we're sticking with the driving analogy, you got someone behind you. How do you think they're going to handle you slamming on your brakes, right? There's a whole lot more going into it once you're capable of looking past the tip of your own nose and recognizing that everyone's life is just as vivid for them, right? Because it's like the sinking of ships, like there's mourning to that, right? There's sadness to that. A loss of life should be considered regrettable, especially when it could have been handled differently. But, know the difference between what's your responsibility and what's your baggage and what's the heck not. And maybe that's what you've been doing. Maybe that's a part of this reawakening of the flame. Maybe that's what you're being beckoned for, right? Clarification time. Wow. This is not the first time in the past week that we're starting right off the bat with a ton of pentacles, eh, fam? This is not our first time. It's hello again, Ten of Pentacles. How's it going? How you doing? How's the fam? Like, are you kidding me right now? Coming in hot. We're not messing around. This time is for keeps. I mean, it's always, but you know, goodness gracious. This isn't a right now situation. This is the rest of your life. This is your legacy. This is not only how you wish to be affected, but how you want others affected. The vibe that you're within. I guess the question is, are you thinking about it too much? Or is it merely your inspiration, right? 2 10s in a row, though. That's quite the difference in vibes, isn't it? Is that why I was like, or? Like, there's been a lot that has happened to get here. You didn't just, the flame, if snuffed out, was not necessarily by choice. There may have been sacrifices made, and now you're able to recognize, okay, not only is it time to heal, but we're going to follow through with the healing. That's been the theme of the channel, is following through. You've got this. Now follow through, right? There's a lot of different moving parts, and darn tootin', you're one of them, all right? You're one of the main characters in whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's this, it doesn't have to be family by blood. It can be your chosen family, your chosen friends, the people you choose to surround yourself with. And you've learned the hard way who you don't want drawn closer anymore, right? You've been very deeply affected by all of it. Whether people realize how much they affected you or not, it's cut you deep. And it's been a lot of trauma that you've been working through. A lot of condescension and toxicity that you're healing from. Typical, like, you know, my neighborhood, it's gotta, everyone wants to join the conversation when they're this good. You know what I'm saying? Because that's 2 10s on the table, fam. Boosh. Okay. All right. Swords are, you know, they're mental. They're not only air, they're the way your mind works, right? So I kind of, like, I know what other, that, you know, there's particular vibes with the 7 of Swords. But to me, I can't help but notice that this person seems happy. Like, you know what? Those are the choices you've made for yourself. And I'm just going to peace out and be over here, minding my own business, staying in my own dang lane, not disrespecting others and, you know, whatnot. Right? It's similar to me to the 5 of Cups, where they have whatever, but there's 2 behind them, right? But with this one, there's the wisdom gained. Like, okay, I see what that's about. And if you hadn't gained all this wisdom from this experience, you wouldn't be able to pull this off the way you are. Not can, not will, are, fam. This cycle is done. It's done. That's what 10s are, the ending of a cycle. And you've got 2 here. And for the Pentacles, it's not just money, it's everything. It's all of these seeds that you've been planting. You've been alchemizing this pain into joy. You've taken your past and you've transformed it into the future you've been longing for, that you've been wanting to, and you've been recognizing your power for that. That people are projecting. No matter what we're doing, we're projecting, right? And you're better able to recognize what's going on with people. You can help people without sacrificing yourself now. And that's a huge difference. And you should be proud of yourself for that, because it's taken a lot of freaking work. Boosh. hermit up on that dang mountain much? A question. Do you think that this grandfather type figure right here could be the hermit? Second question. Is this him before or after the mountain? Now the hermit is representing Virgo. So if you are a fellow Virgo, hi, what's going on? Regardless, I can't help but have a tendency to notice that there's a star inside of this lantern. This is such a great representation of returning to yourself, shutting out the rest of the world, not truly disconnecting because you're still very much so in it. And it's like you have this beautiful vista point being up there on the mountain, right? You're able to reclaim that awe, that flame, that spark of your life. You know, you've been working to get your head on right. The things that you spent so much time merely compartmentalizing for later, you've been sifting through that crap. No stone unturned. We're figuring this out now. We're doing this. It's so important. And, you know, you're following through. Woohoo! Seriously, really? Really? Look at you. I feel like the Queen of Pentacles is coming on in to provide some balance, some much needed balance. That reminder, that nurturing for someone like us is a big part of that. And maybe that's why it affected so deeply, right? You would almost prefer that they were physical about it, because then at least those wounds would heal better, you know, put some Neosporin or something, balm it. You know, enjoy your herbs, do the thing. But when it's so deep within, it affects you for so long. Like when we're talking about like our formative years, when our brains are the spongiest of all, and we're just taking in, like you continue to take in information. No matter how much you disassociate, your subconscious is still taking right on in all of that information, right? And it has affected you very deeply. And it can be, some days it's really difficult to remember that there's a new day tomorrow. Sometimes we don't really give a rip about the new day tomorrow, okay? Still trying to live through today, but may you have all of the options. May you know them. May you have them. Because your passions have been affected by this long enough. You're not doing all of this work for nothing. Up on your mountain, turning the world away for the time being. And now it's not like you figured out, like, even if you're still a bit reclusive, maybe you're hecka immunocompromised and you're still having to live a very particular way. Why? Because that's life. Hashtags and all. But you're figuring out how to meander through all this in your own way, instead of the ways everybody else has told you to do your entire life. And all that did was silence you. And you didn't deserve that. That was not the way, fam. And you're figuring out the way. This came up in a similar way for me in my personal reading yesterday. And for me, this feels like a continuation. I can't help but notice that they're in movement these days. Whenever I see this card, it's like, thank goodness they're not just sitting there. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like there's this blind determination happening. That it's like, it doesn't matter what's going on. They're walking barefoot in the snow. right? So what if the door is right here and they're just like, whew, finally in from out in the cold. It doesn't matter if they've ever been forgotten. They haven't forgotten. They're moving on. They're looking for the warmth. They're moving on. They're done being worried. They're done feeling like it's not for them when they know exactly what is, right? There's no more blame being pushed onto others. There is only, we're moving on. I accept that I'm here right now because I am not done yet. And there's more to do. Wow. Yeah, this emperor is not suffering any fools. They can smell that bullshit coming from a mile away. Notice how the clothing that this person has, which kind of looks like rags, isn't that different from the emperor? What lack? 5, 4. Wow, 2 4s. Okay. Okay. You definitely have plenty of options. Maybe that's a struggle. Maybe you're trying to figure out the whats and the hows and the whatevers, but there's no I was just about to say there's no cups. There's no... What the heck? What are we missing? Why do I feel like something's missing from this? Of all frickin' major arcana that we could see, so what if things were going fine? You were handling things and it was fine and dandy, doing what you thought you were supposed to be doing, but it felt so hollow. It felt like, what's the point? And it was soul-crushing, mind-numbing. Just, this isn't how I thought my life was going to be. And yet I'm surrounded by these people that seem to be, you know, certainly opinionated. And treating me like my opinion doesn't matter. Well, if it doesn't matter, then I guess I can just... Deuces. I'm remembering telling a buddy of mine like a decade ago nearly about when my friend and I were really getting into the idea of tiny houses and stuff like that. And I was saying, like, I'm just not at a point in my life where I want to worry about a dang yard. You know what I mean? Where I want to worry about all the upkeep and everything of owning a house and having property. Like, I want to just chill, you know? Where are we going? I don't know. Wherever the heck we want, just about at least, right? That freedom, right? And not wanting to worry about the house in Calabasas. And he told me, dream bigger. I don't think he understood me, but at the same time, I've been recognizing that it was still good advice because I was minimizing myself. Ultimately, that's what I was doing. The fact that I wanted to go up to the mountain, the fact that I wanted to be like, okay, fine, deuces, right, fam? The fact that we feel the need to become recluses in such homebodies can be from trauma, from being overstimulated all the dang time, tired of being misunderstood. How many of you are autistic? I'm Audi ADHD AF. Hi, fam. Either way, you don't have to be to relate to some of this, right? And quite frankly, anytime I see stuff come up on Pinterest about Virgos, I'm like, I mean, could I put this in the astrological folder or my autistically human folder? I don't know sometimes. It could go either way. But you know, like, when things affect you, they matter to you, that can make things difficult in a world, in a society, depending on how you view it, right? It can make it really difficult to handle your business, having your emotions involved. Please be sure that you're not the only one. You're not any of the ones sticking you inside of a box. Sticking baby in the corner. What is that cat doing? So just, if it hurts, because like, you know, you reach a point where it's like, okay, what am I doing? Right? And maybe you've had difficulty trusting yourself. And that's been a part of the escapism, the healing process. Maybe your aha moment catalyst was trauma, new, fresh trauma. And that's part of the, okay, never again. What can I do to never again? But there's a balance happening here. We're taking our ability to nurture and care for others, and we're moving on to something that enables more balance. To wherever you're living, whatever you're doing, whatever kingdom you're ruling over, you're able to handle everything and not be so easily swayed. Not, let me just take a moment. Because I feel like I'm more so repeating myself than anything. There's an element that I'm not, what is this? Because we have 2 7s, 2 4s, 2 10s. Seven, 8, 9, 10. Because we got an 8 there. There's a lot of synchronicity. This is the 1111 card as well. So maybe that's the problem. There's been so much chaos, and we're just trying to figure out how to exist without chaos, and it's taken some work. We're trying to believe in ourselves. We've spent so much time believing in others, and now it's time to learn and really reinforce the ability to believe in oneself. Let's go ahead and see if the extra notes will help me out with this. It's all good. All right. Oh, that was then and this is now. Thank goodness. Bye. Because it's not like you don't get to still have this. It's not like you're not capable of it all of a sudden, right? Maybe you're overwhelmed with your options, or you're about to be. Maybe there's so much that you want to try. Maybe when people are telling you it's whatever, you know, from when you were a kid that you really wanted or whatever, you're like, I mean, I also wanted to be an astronaut. You know what I mean? Like, but it's something that you've reignited. Or it's something that you want to, like singing, music, creativity, because we definitely got the wands. represented, and our hopes and dreams. Maybe you're scared that all of this synchronicity and all of this seemingly good shit that's been coming in is false. So continue healing, continue working so that that doubt can just get out of here. There's balance represented. There's been a lot of balance being represented lately. Trust that process. It's coming. Yeah, I feel like this isn't so much like a true timeline of things as it's just all these different elements, the different, trying to untangle the threads of fate or something. Like the cat got a hold of it. Who's the Taurus? I don't know about you, but I have a Taurus moon. Oh, I see. Someone needs an auntie moment. Please don't put a C at the beginning of that word. That's not necessary, at least not right now. Listen, auntie, like it's when you're non-binary, some may consider it like that balance between an auntie and an uncle. These readings that I've been doing, especially lately, for well over a week, have been very encouraging. Very like it can be really difficult when you're used to everything being difficult and things just ease up, and yet it may seem as though there are still things out of your control that you can't help, that you can't make better. Like when your absolute best wasn't enough, what the heck, man? But when we try our best, when we're working within faith, at least of ourselves, when we're being true to ourselves, that's the greatest gift. That's what it's about. Being able, in the midst of all of this, to still be happy, to still be capable of love, to still be capable of nurturing, and knowing who you need to love at arm's length and who to draw closer. If you're being true to yourself and you're not trying to disrespect or hurt anyone, you're doing it right. Helping others should not sacrifice yourself. Love doesn't want your sacrifice. Love isn't petty. It's not jealous. Love is unconditional. There's with this Taurus, I'm feeling stubbornness. Like that's a part of this Eight of Pentacles, is pure, like the pure, like, how people joke around of like, yeah, I'm here just out of spite. You know what I mean? But there's a change that's been occurring and it's working. You are doing the thing, whether you can see it or not. There's so much change. If you try to tell me right now that you're not seeing it, you have no evidence, I call liar. It may not be exactly what you're expecting. It may not be happening exactly when you expect it, but keep going. And manage your own expectations, right? Stop worrying about expectations, especially that of anyone else, because they're not living your life for you, all right? It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what's going on. They're not having to reprogram your subconscious. They need to, if they're trying to control you, they need to take it to the mirror and learn some self-control their damn selves. Anyway, like don't be discouraged by these two cards, okay? There's such positive vibes still emanating from them, for me anyway. These are two beings that are more than capable of handling their business, no matter where they are in the world, because they're both kind of they both have their own mountains going on, don't they? This is the fire, the drive that enables you to have the right amount of stubbornness and stamina to persevere and figure all this crap out. So don't, if you, maybe you're getting overwhelmed by your options and all of the things that you want to do, and that's okay, because there's a reigniting of that passion and that fire occurring, and it should be fed. So if you're concerned about balance and all of that, don't be, because you've been figuring it out this whole time. This whole time. You've gained so much wisdom this whole time. And you know what to do. You know how to handle it. So, heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. You've got this. And I believe in you. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I really appreciate the company. I really, really do. You've got this. Thank goodness that was then and this is now, because this version of the 10 of Pentacles is going to boggle your mind with how incredible it is. To new beginnings, to the ending of the old cycles. You know, let's tip a hat. Let's honor. All right? Honor your survival skills, because they got you here. And that is worth celebrating, because you're an incredible human being, okay? You're figuring it out. You're getting it figured out. You don't have to see what's going on in order to continue doing the thing. It's all going to work out. And it's going to become really obvious really soon. Just because you can't see the door doesn't mean it isn't there, fam. Okay? It's right there. All right. Thank you. Always remember that I love you.